Right. So, hello. Welcome back to another walkthrough of Assassin's Creed III Remastered. If you have not seen the intro I did with this yesterday, watch that first before watching this one. The link below will be the Assassin's Creed Ezio collection. And obviously, future reference, other Assassin's Creed games when I do them. And apparently this one has a DLC, the Tyranny of King Washington, so once we finish Assassin's Creed 3 we'll do this one. And this one also has the Liberation Remastered, and obviously we'll do that one too when we're done with this. All of that still to come. Anyway, we have just arrived in America and traveled the ship from England, London to Boston. So let's see what's gonna happen. So then when they said that, like the Desmond Ezio story ends here, I guess by that it means like, Ezio's story is finished, you don't play as him again. But however, Desmond's story in this version is still continuing. It says someone later on down the road, that's when his story ends. Find a general store. A number of public markets in the colonies, meaning you can get supplies easily. Of course, paying for goods is another matter, as currency was incredibly complex. People said in English, Spanish, French, and Portuguese coins, wumpen, New Jersey, New York bills, magic beans, laundromat coins, the list goes on. We've simplified everything down for you in the Animus. You're welcome. While some markets sold a variety of goods, like Funwell Hall in Boston, others were specialized. New York, Cointees Slip was mainly a fish market, though like most markets, it sold a little of everything. While if you were in the market of African slaves, Peck Slips was the place to go. Yes, slavery was illegal at the time, though it was less common in Boston than New York, which had the largest slave population in the north. Don't be surprised to see European servants for sale. Either some were sold for a fixed number of years to pay back their passage to the New World, much better deal than the slaves were offered. Yeesh. Charles Lee, a British soldier who went on to be a major figure in the Revolutionary War. Lee's father was a colonel in the British Army and started his son off in military career early. He was sent to a military academy in Switzerland during his formative years, and then in 1746, Lee became an ensign in his father's regiment. Lee was sent to the colonies in 1755 to fight in the French and Indian War. He served under Edward Braddock and then later at Fort Ticonderoga, where he was injured in the fighting. Lee recovered and later fought at Fort Niagara. I always thought there were a lot of fights fought. He finished his time in the colonies with the British conquest of Montreal. Lee returned to England in 1760, possibly because he was seeking career advancement. He was named a major in 1761 and was sent to fight the Spanish in Portugal. Though his service record there was good, Lee didn't receive praise on his return home. In fact, he was retired from the army at half pay. After that, Lee became a vocal critic of military higher-ups, and the British Prime Minister found that his military career had inexplicably completely stalled. I don't even know what the kids are doing. Best to avoid them. Get up. If we could try and steal your pockets. Well, that was a bad miss.
Damn sprigs. This accursed city will be the death of me.
You seem troubled, friend.
Benjamin Franklin.
That's because I am. Greatly so, in fact.
What's happened?
I was robbed. The old Balkan file. Though I've managed to restore what's mine, I fear it's ruined.
You mean the book?
This is no ordinary book. It's an almanac. The first I ever wrote. Benjamin Franklin, pleased to meet you.
Hatham Kenway.
You must be new to Boston.
Why do you say that?
You're still possessed of virtue. To stop and help an old lout like myself. I don't mean to impose, but you seem a spry fellow. Should you happen to find my missing pages, I'll reward you.
Look, I'm not sure if I...
It's all right, all right. If you have the time, hurrah! If not, no harm done. The thing is useless in its current state anyway. But should you somehow manage to restore it, you'll find me inside that general store over there.
Well, that was interesting.
You think? We just met one of America's most famous men. Benjamin Franklin was a renowned inventor, diplomat, and one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. Translation, he was a rock star of the age, pretty much. Benjamin Franklin was born in Boston in 1706, the 10th son of a soap maker. 10 sons. I guess his parents could afford television, and also there was no television. He began working for his brother in 1718 as an apprentice printer. However, the relationship was rocky, particularly after the elder Franklin found out that young Benjamin had been writing for the paper under a pseudonym. Pseudonym? Silence Dogood. Dogood. And writing an extremely popular column at that. Human nature being what it is, the fact that the column was popular was probably the bigger problem. Benjamin ran away in 1723 and headed for Philadelphia, where he continued his career in printing and writing, eventually buying the Pennsylvania Gazette. The business, I mean not just a copy. And that would have been one of his lesser achievements. He stayed in Philadelphia for most of his life. That was when he wasn't making extended trips to Europe. Franklin had a talent for persuasion, and that made him an ideal diplomat. In 1757, he went to London to represent Pennsylvania in an ongoing legal battle with the Penn family. It was one of the first of several extended political trips to Britain, and he would act as the state representative for Massachusetts, Georgia, and New Jersey as well. In fact, Franklin was in Europe for most of the Revolution, though he was in the colonies to help with the writing of the Declaration of Independence. Oh shit! There was more. Here. Franklin was a vocal opponent of British impositions on the colonies, like the Stamp Act. And although he first fought for the rights of colonists as British citizens, he eventually became convinced, like many of the founding fathers, that independence was the only real solution. Eventually, Franklin's change of heart made him clash with his son William, who served as the royal governor of New Jersey. Willie remained an active loyalist. The father and son never spoke again. While he wasn't founding a new nation and destroying his family in the process, Franklin was a scientist, inventing things like bifocals and more efficient wood stoves when he wasn't mapping the Gulf Stream and discovering how electricity worked. What have you... Oh yeah. What have you done today? Made yourself a microwave meal. Sat upon your underwear. Oh, well done you. Why do you write that stuff? Seriously. He was also quite the lady killer. Jesus, this guy carried on several friendships with women while he was in Europe. The records don't say what exactly they saw in him, certainly not his looks. Maybe women like a man who's intelligent. If that was true, I wouldn't be here. I'd be in Portugal, surrounded by them. You technically still can. Just go and do it.
For the best rates in transatlantic shipping, contact Wells Brokers. Let us worry about the details while you get down to business.
Tried to press it, but nothing was happening. Comedies of correspondence. Since the American Revolution happened at the dark days before there was an internet, and even before telephones, organization colonies, oppositions to the British was a little tricky. I don't want to make you cry, but these clowns didn't even have dial-up. The solution was to send out riders bearing letters to inform colonists in other areas what was going on. These became known as committees of correspondence. Correspondence being a fancy name for letters. If you did not know this, I'm amazed I even read this far. Actually, I'm amazed you can read this far. Why do you even... Never mind. Samuel Adams created one of the first committees of correspondence in Boston in 1772. In particular, he wanted to keep going outside of Boston, informed about town meetings so the governor couldn't invite only his friends to meetings. That would be less a meeting, more dinner party. Perhaps surprisingly, Adams' committee worked so well that everyone started doing it. Eventually, all the colonies had their own committees, focused on presenting a united front against British-imposed taxes and supporting boycotts of British goods. Really, Adams should have patented the idea. He could have made a fortune. If only they had you there at the time.
Word arrives from France that the Baron de Montesquieu has died. His work is well regarded by all Englishmen.
Ah, hello. Welcome.
Now balance is 2050 or 2850? Oh, well, you just go broke from that. Oh, okay, the funds is how much we have. Okay, the balance is how much we get, how much we have left. Alright, that makes sense.
Who is this?
For all your fishing needs,
I thought we were staring at the dog for a minute. So hold R1. See, I already got your hand lit. Horse whistle. So hold R1 to open the wheel. Use the left stick to select the swords. Oh wait, now use the flintlock pistol. Okay. Follow Lee to the Green Dragon on horseback.
We ride for the Green Dragon Tavern. The proprietors are eccentric, but the rooms are spacious and...
Funnel Hall. Don't let the French spelling confuse you. The name of this building is pronounced Funnel or Funnel. Getting it wrong is a good way to indicate you're not from around here, but it's also a great way of proving you're not French, which in my experience is a real boon. Also, if you want to pass as a local, you should take a good look at the weather vane. It's a Boston landmark. Legend has it that in the War of 1812, suspect spies were asked what was on top of Funnel Hall. Only a true local would be able to say it was a grasshopper. The building was named after Peter Funnel, the local merchant who paid to build it. It was meant as a place for local farmers to sell their goods so their carts would stop crowding with streets. And also so you didn't have to walk near farmers. However, it's the meeting hall on the second floor which gives the building its nickname, the Cradle of Liberty. That's rather ostentatious, and I dare say American as a nickname, but it's not inaccurate. People met here to protest the Stamp Act. The first anti-tea tax meeting were also held here. Anti-British meetings occasionally drew crowds so large the building couldn't even hold them, at which point they all went to the Old South Meeting Hall. During the siege of Boston, the meeting hall here was made over into a theater. Since plays of any kind were banned in Boston under ordinary circumstances, something I think should still be a law, actually. This is yet another example of British loyalists sticking to the rebels.
Do not pry.
Have you been told why it is I've come to Boston?
No, Master Birch said I should know only as much as you saw fit to share. He sent me a list of names and bade me ensure you could find them.
And have you had any luck with that?
Aye. William Johnson waits for us at the Green Dragon.
How well do you know him?
Not well, but he saw the order's mark and did not hesitate to come.
Prove yourself loyal to our cause. And you may yet know our plans as well.
I should like nothing more, sir.
Batman's Alfred wanted to become Batman. If he does what's right by him, maybe he'll join them after all. The Green Dragon Tavern. This tavern is sometimes called the headquarters of the revolution, though I imagine when it is, they pronounce it headquarters of the revolution. Because overthrowing the government in a pub is thirsty work. It was probably a place for people like Paul Revere and Samuel Adams to sit with their friends and plot. Up until 1754, the tavern was owned by William Douglas. When he died, his property was left to his daughter, Catherine Kerr, and his nephew, Cornelius Douglas. They divided their inheritance equally, and it seems got along famously. The Freemasons bought the tavern in 1766 and renamed it the Freemasons Arms, which didn't actually stick because the sign above the door was still a green dragon. Freemasons, the secret society everyone knows about. Let's get a pub where we can meet in complete secret and no one will ever know. Brilliant! What should we call it? How about the Freemason Arms? Legend has it that Paul Revere's ride was planned here, but that's unlikely. By 1774, Revere had been warned that the British were listening on his meetings and had therefore stopped making super secret plans in public, where anyone could hear them. Someone tell the Masons you know where to find them. I don't think we need to do that. I was confused at what the heck was going on.
You lying, cheating, no good son of a bitch.
Perhaps we've come at a bad time.
Oh, don't be foolish, dearies. Please, sit. Fancy something to eat? A drink, perhaps? Or is it a bed you require?
We've already let rooms here.
Oh, yes. Of course. Masters Lee and Kenway, was it? I'll have your bags brought up. Do you require anything further?
Only privacy.
This way.
Well, there was the owner of the tavern. They did say she was one of the owners.
Sir, William Johnson.
A pleasure. A good lad, if a bit earnest. I'm told you're putting together an expedition.
We believe there's a precursor site in the region. I require your knowledge of the land and its people to find it.
Sadly, my research has been stolen. Without it, I'm of no use to you.
Then we'll find it. Do you have any leads?
My associate, Thomas Hickey, has been making the rounds. He's quite good at loosening tongues.
Well, tell me where I can find him. I'll see if I can't speed things up.
We've heard rumors of bandits operating from a compound southwest of here. You'll likely find him there.
Charles?
Sir,
We'd best be off.
of course.
William Johnson. William Johnson was a land speculator and Britain's principal treaty negotiator with the indigenous people in the northern part of the colonies, particularly the Iroquois. The Iroquois, however you pronounce that. Johnson was born in Ireland but moved to the colonies in 1738 to look after his uncle's property on the Mohawk River. However, it wasn't long before Johnson's branched out into business for himself, acquiring property on the opposite side of the river and setting up a sawmill and trading post which he named Mount Johnson. Which to me always sounds like mating instructions from cavemen. In 1743, he moved to an even larger parcel of land which he named Fort Johnson. He may have been an excellent businessman, but it's possible he lacked an imagination. Johnson befriended the indigenous people in the area, particularly the Kanyan Kaheka, whose language he learned. His respect for their customs helped him rise to prominence as liaison between the Iroquois people and the British government. Johnson was named Superintendent of Indian Affairs in 1756. As a contact who knows the land and its people, he's probably the best you find. We have someone else? Thomas Hickey. Thomas Hickey was an Irish-born member of the British Army. He arrived in Boston in 1752, but it wasn't long before he was assigned to William Johnson's personal guard. Apparently at Johnson's request, personally because their families were connected in Ireland, or maybe he found the name Hickey funny. Hickey served under Johnson during the French and Indian War, but then he left the army after being written up several times for disorderly conduct. After 1760, Hickey disappeared from the historical records for several years. I do, however, have several mentions in William Johnson's household accounts of payments made to T.H. It's possible Hickey was working for him as a spy. If so, He should really have developed some tougher codes to crack. Oh yeah, because supposedly the future would never know about it. Ah, it looks like they're in the other regions. Where they're meant to be. Yeah, literally. Johnson's errands.
Thomas Hickey?
Who's asking?
Haytham Kenway.
Is that supposed to mean something?
Show some respect, boy.
Peace, Charles. William Johnson sent us in the hopes we might expedite your search.
We don't need no expediting. Don't need none of your fancy London speak neither. I found the men that done the theft.
Then why are you just lazing around?
Figuring out how to deal with those varlets.
I have an idea.
Well, let's hear it.
I'll kill the lookout, take up a position behind the guards. You two approach from the front. When I open fire on the group, you charge in. We'll have the element of surprise on our side. Half will fall before they've even realized what's happened.
Surprising he didn't even say anything about it.
Get into position. But wait for me to take the first shot.
Do you even care about the fact, like, they could have heard that shot something? That's the border by the looks of it.
Go on now, before you make us mad.
And to reload a gun, we press triangle.
So much for the element of surprise.
Reinforcements!
Well, isn't that what I was supposed to do in the first place? I thought that's what he wanted anyway. I'm so confused on what the hell he wanted now.
You two, clear off.
And he was just reloading.
Go on now, before you make us mad.
Let's try this again. Okay, he only hides when he do that. Okay.
So much for the element of surprise.
Reinforcements!
I know, that's what I was confused about, because it looks as if like you're meant to go, you're meant to cause a scene there or something. I'm so confused.
two. Clear off.
Go on now, before you make us mad.
So then am I meant to like jump down? Okay, that's what I meant to do.
So much for the element of surprise.
Reinforcements!
Boys, April! Shoot them before they reach!
That is so stupid. So it's almost like as if like you're meant to do it like that. Luckily, this thing did not give it out the air system. Yeah, they heard that, but not them. I was gonna say like maybe we could sneak around the bag, but now because of that, I don't think it's gonna be possible. Ah, fuck it.
So much for the element of surprise.
Missed that shot. I can't pick up a gun. Okay, there we go.
Fall back! Fall back! We'll be safe inside! What now? We can blow the door with those. Go on, shoot them.
So as to say, was somebody up there? And I think somebody is, but I don't think we're allowed to shoot that guy. Even though it looks as if like you can aim at him, yeah.
On with your show.
There you go.
Guess they wasn't so safe inside after all.
Yeah, clearly.
Bet this'll fetch a pretty penny.
Save your looting for after we found Johnson's research.
Yes, master.
You always got those people that just mocks and act like they can do whatever they want.
Lay down your weapons, and I'll consider letting you live.
I make you the same offer. We've no quarrel. I only wish to return this chest to its rightful owner.
Nothing rightful about Mr. Johnson.
I won't ask again.
Agreed.
From reflex when you're close to an enemy. Ah, okay. I was trying to reload the gun.
Your kind has no need for books and maps. Who put you up to this?
Never seen a person. It's always been dead drops and letters. But they always pay, so we do the jobs.
Well, those days are done. Tell your masters I said as much.
Who should I say you are?
You don't? They'll know.
Atham, this one's got some shot on him. You might want to be grabbing it on account of your pistol being parched.
A shame
Yeah,
so
thank
many
you.
had to die.
Aye. Terrible tragedy, that. Back to the Green Dragon, then. I need a drink.
Now we gotta make sure they're protected with their health.
Careful, gents. We've company.
Don't let go of the chest, Charles. We'll take care of this rabble.
Oh!
A little help, please.
When you're crying, I'm coming.
Who did that shot?
Wait, them bodies is sure to have loot on them. Would be a shame to let it all go to waste.
Are you mad? In case you've forgotten, we're in the midst of something.
Aw, why's you always gotta go and spoil the sport?
We always do that out of the way, so doesn't really matter. And yeah, this thing does not make any noise on the air system, so that's good. Oh! Is it actually done? Nope, it's not. Oh, you got guys up there?
Come on now, it's just a few fools with knives. They ain't so tough.
It's not the scoundrels I'm concerned with.
And I love the dude's accent. I love it. come on. I clearly blocked that. It just made it look as if like I didn't at all. Oh, there's more around here. Not a good enough aim. We'll do it. Just makes a jump for no reason.
Oi! Mr. Johnson's gonna need to double my pay after all this if he expects me to keep at his side.
There you are.
My thanks, Master Kenway. Now, tell me what it is you need.
The images on this amulet, are they familiar to you? Perhaps one of the tribes has shown you something similar.
It appears Kanyan Gahaga in origin.
Can you trace it to a specific location? I need to know where it came from.
With my research returned, perhaps. Let me see what I can do. Thomas!
What?
Rent yourself a room. And a bath as well. I suspect we'll be here for a while.
That was his payment right there. A room and a shower. In Assassin's Creed 2 and even the Brotherhood and Revelations, we had to wait for a while to start the synchronizations, so I'm assuming for this one we're gonna have to wait as
Tell
well.
me about yourself, William.
What's to tell? I was born in Ireland to Catholic parents, which I learnt early in life severely limited my opportunities. So I converted to Protestantism and journeyed here at the behest of my uncle. But I fear my uncle Peter was not the swiftest of men. He sought to open trade with the Kanyan Gahaga, but chose to build his settlement away from the trade routes instead of on them. I tried to reason with the man, but as I said, not the swiftest. So, I took what little money I'd earned and bought my own little plot of land. I built a home, a farm, a store, and a mill. Humble beginnings, but well situated, which made all the difference.
So this is how you came to know the Mohawk?
Indeed. And it has proved a valuable relationship.
But still no mention from your contacts of the precursor site? No hidden temple or ancient constructs?
Yes and no. Which is to say, they have their fair share of sacred sites. Earthen mounds, forest clearings, hidden caves. But nothing matching what you describe. No strange metals, no odd glows.
It is well hidden.
Even to them, it seems. But cheer up, my friend. You'll have your precursor treasure. I swear it.
To our success, then.
And soon.
You meant to drink to that when you say something like that. You meant to drink.
Any news?
Whispers of things. Nothing solid at the moment. I know you're looking for word of anything out of the ordinary. Dealing with temples and spirits and ancient times and whatnot. But, so far, can't say my boys have heard much.
No trinkets or artifacts being moved through your... shadow market?
Nothing new. Couple of ill-gotten weapons, some jewelry likely lifted from a living thing. But you said to listen for talk of glows and ums and strange sights, right? And I ain't heard nothing about that.
Keep at it.
Oh, I will. You done me a great service, mister. And I fully intend to repay my debt. Thricefold, if it pleases.
Thank you, Thomas.
Place to sleep and meal to eat is thanks enough. Don't you worry. I'll get you sorted soon.
Like I said, the room, the shower, and the food and everything, it's technically his rewards. Next on the list. Oh, that's the name.
Evening, gentlemen.
Charming.
Oh, peace, Charles. He'll grow on you.
Oi! Catherine, you fussock! Get back here! Daddy needs a drink.
How fares the search?
Maths and maps are not cutting it.
I think
What do your local
the
contacts?
mug just flew on its
Earn
own.
trust before they'll share what they know.
I have an idea on how we might be affecting that. There's a man who's taken to enslaving natives. Rescue them, and they'll owe us.
Do you know where they're being held?
Afraid not.
Benjamin Churchwill. He's a finder and a fixer. He's also on your list.
And there I was, wondering whom I might solicit next. Well done.
They truly live in an era of pirates. Yeah, I call it the pirate era. Pirates of the Caribbean era, I call it. I really don't want to try and play it. I've never been good at checkers. Seriously? Just fast travel? Not that I'm complaining, but what am I saying? I see nothing about viewpoints yet, so if we were to find viewpoints, I guess we have to wait a little longer for that. Got something there. Church residence. This house was built in 1707 by a prominent local merchant named Robert Calef. Benjamin Church bought it from his heirs to use as a Boston residence. Church practice is on the Newsbury Street, a fairly short walk away, so the house was in an ideal location. It's also in a nice part of town. Even in colonial Boston, two-story houses with fence and gardens don't come cheap. And it didn't even get cable. Actually, given the location, it seems the church practice was doing very well indeed. That or he had another source of revenue.
Wonderful. Charles?
Sir?
I was like, Charles, well, that was rather a bit rude. Oh, sorry. I thought you
Seems like
were
you're the
trying to
ones
go
looking
in.
for Mr. Church.
Damn it, it could be anywhere. What do we do?
You find him. Come. I'll show you how.
For a moment I thought like, he was gonna look for something in there, but nope, not really. Introduction. Oh, don't even read these. Non-lethal weapons. Orange marker indicates caution. Those targets must not be killed. Benjamin Church. Benjamin Church was a talented physician and essentially the first Surgeon General of the U.S. Army. Church was born in Rhode Island and graduated from Harvard University in 1754. So you're meeting him here just out of college. He'll be appointed head of the medical wing of the Continental Army in 1775. But for God's sake, don't tell him and go straight to his head. How would we? Church goes on to become a vocal patriot, which makes him sound like a member of a weird barbershop quartet. But he was a member of the Sons of Liberty and his local committee of correspondence. He'll even speak at the 3rd anniversary of the Boston Massacre. Because I got a house in a very nice part of town. Being a doctor must pay well. Duh! At that time, yeah. Doctors pay well at those times. The guy is not very good a historian if he's criticizing this much.
Should we write his family, do you think?
Not our business to meddle, even if we've the best of intentions.
But if you could have seen it, they were surely drunk carrying on like that, and during the day, no less.
I think the guy is drunk or something in front of us.
That the mill pond bridge has been declared unsafe and should be obviated from your itineraries.
Move between the two civilians, blend in.
Repairs have concluded.
Scandalous behavior from one who aims to be a surgeon. Not likely.
At least this is better.
Truly a shameful display. Benjamin's parents would be mortified.
Perhaps I should send someone to retrieve him before he damages his reputation beyond repair.
They stumbled off to the northeast, no doubt in search of a tavern or some other place of ill repute.
Start questioning those on the street. I'm headed for higher ground.
With the Mohawk tribe. The Black Swan Inn offers you the finest fare in the city.
Technically you want to do that when there's no one inside, but we're not in Florence and Rome, or even Constantinople. We're in America where everyone does this. Well, that messed it up. How far do you go up? Oh. That's where you go. Piggies! We got piggies! Ah, maybe this is where we do the viewpoint. New South Meeting House. Another wooden church, this time with a bell and the steeple. Samuel Adams' father, also named Samuel Adams, was one of the founding members. I'm surprised it wasn't torn down for firewood during the siege, but I guess its members just hadn't angered the British enough for that. It's conveniently named so you won't mistake for the old South Meeting House where all the important events happened. Simply is best. Yeah, sure you are. When you realize this is easy to climb buildings, everyone would do them, and everyone would just fall to their deaths. Please tell me this is a viewpoint. Yes, it is a viewpoint. Like, in an area like this is where an assassin feels free.
With luck, one of those people knows what became of Benjamin.
Nice hay to land on.
Definitely suffered a decline in character.
Indeed. All manner of Arifs and natty lads now walk the streets. Why, just earlier today I had a run-in with some.
Do tell.
It was down by the church. A group of men comes rushing through when one of them suddenly falls to the ground, all torn up. I thought about going to see if he needed help, but a look from one of them changed my mind.
Probably for the best. Those aren't the sort of people you want
That
to
one
get
got dragged with those two people. On a moving group, that would be easy, but gotta look for the right one to do with.
I've asked the criers, but they all plead ignorance. Bugger that! They're lying! Aye. Well, what can I do? Dress like old them.
Line ended horribly. Oh wait, we're near one of those page thingies here. Collect almanac. Ah, the 4 pages. Okay, that's what they were.
There is just a church, but one way or another, the debt would be settled. I don't envy the man. He's grim times ahead.
Well, what do you think they're planning?
All I know is it can't be good.
Probably looking for a nice, quiet place to do the deed. From what I hear tell, his work usually involves quite a bit of screaming.
Which reminds me, we'd best not buy any meat.
Good call, lad.
How was that a failure?
I asked if I could help, and they waved me away. How odd. Did they say what had happened? No. Only that it was a trifling matter, and he'd be returned home soon. There was some blood, though, so I wonder if it wasn't more serious than they let on. Where were they taking him? Towards the hilltop. Perhaps there's a doctor at the fort.
See, Charles? We'll have church in no time, just as I said we would.
If I might ask, sir, where did you learn to do all this?
It is a requirement when you are raised in the manner that I was.
When he started,
Fundamental skill.
when he started talking to him, like, where the hell did he go?
Climbing informs the hands when striking and fighting. But most
He just stopped talking too when we did that.
Careful. The place is well guarded. We need to slip past them.
Two guards just approached from behind! What are you talking about? Literally out of nowhere, I just see two red marks, and I'm like, where are the two red marks from? And boom.
We'll have church in no time, just as I said we would.
If I might ask, sir, where did you learn to do all this?
It is a requirement when you are raised in the manner that I was. Perception is fundamental to the Order. It guides the feet when running and climbing, informs the hands when striking and fighting. But most important, it transforms the senses, and we begin to know the world in a different way.
Hence why, you know, like, when an assassin learns the way he is, they just feel different. Fort Hill and South Battery. Fort Hill is the second highest hill in Boston. If only it had tried harder when it was a little hillock, and overlooks Boston Harbor. The defenses were built here in the mid-17th century, along with a smaller one-gun fortification near the harbor, named the South Battery. The South Battery was expanded in the 1740s, but had fallen out use by the 1760s. Both it and Fort Hill were rebuilt by the Patriots during the Revolutionary War, but both were dismantled before the turn of the century. Fort Hill, the hill itself, not the fortification, was leveled in the late 1860s to make room for more land, so it never realized its dream of becoming the highest hill in town. If that sounds familiar, it's because it happened to every hill in Boston. The heroes are the natural enemies of the Bostonians, and always will be. Wow.
Locked. I'll have to find the key. Wait here.
It's like, I'll need to find a key to go in. Ooh. You got one up there by the looks of it. You got another there. And each one of those guys being guarded except for the one in here. Come on, move up. Wait for him to move. Yeah, to be honest, that was bullshit right there. That was the first time we ever looted. It could have at least said, like, you know, like, you need to hold on to it first.
Here we are then.
Because, you know, when you loot in the Ezio, you just press it like that without having to hold it.
And all shall be forgiven.
I'll not pay for protection I don't need.
Clearly, you do require protection. Else we wouldn't be here. How very gauche. Now, what shall we do about our guest?
Maybe I'll take his hands. Put an end to his surgering. Maybe I'll take his tongue. Put an end to his waggling. Or maybe I'll take his cock. Put an end to his fucking us.
So many options. I can't possibly decide. Take all three.
No, hold a moment. Perhaps I was hasty in refusing you earlier.
I'm so very sorry, Benjamin. But that door has closed.
Be reasonable, Silas.
I rather think I was. But you took advantage of my generosity. I won't be made a fool a second time. I fear I lack the constitution to bear witness to such barbarism. Come find me when you're finished, Cutter.
You'll regret this, Silas. Do you hear me? I'll have your head.
No. I rather think you won't.
I think it's just slice his nose. Silas Thatcher. Silas Thatcher was the nephew of a well-to-do London merchant who purchased a commission for him in the British regulars when he was quite young. He was sent to the colonies in 1750. Poor man, where he was posted at the defense on Boston Neck. You won't be surprised to learn that Thatcher had a mean streak. Few men wanted to serve under him, which might be what led to him being posted in Boston in the first place. Living in the colonies was regarded as something akin to exile at the time. Actually, come to think of it, not much has changed. Men who advanced under Thatcher's command were noted for their cruelty, like his personal assistant, Cutter, which even you might have guessed is a nickname meaning one who likes to cut things, preferably people, not what I look for in a PA, but there you go. At the time, pay in the army was notoriously bad, and soldiers would often pick up odd jobs in their spare hours to make ends meet. This made him rather unpopular in Boston, where unemployment was rather high. However, Thatcher found something he enjoyed much more, demanding protection money from merchants in Boston. Not only that, but he dabbled in theft, fancy stolen goods, and slave trade. A real Renaissance man, capturing the local indigenous people and selling them off to the highest bidder, which is why he was doing when Haytham found him.
I'm proud of it. Maybe you.
I think the other one was going to be Cutter him. Please tell me the other one's Cutter. All British regulars. Oh, the foot soldiers. No. I don't need to worry. I don't need to know about them.
Past that. Though I dare say I'll do my best to ensure that doesn't happen. Hold still a minute. I gotta decide where to start. Just a quick little swipe and no more ears. How's that sound, Mr. Church?
At least I'll be spared more of your inane prattle.
A little bit from here, a little bit from there. Make myself a nice keepsake, I will.
You're absolutely mad.
Just like all good artists.
Your parents must be so very proud to have raised a specimen like yourself.
Quiet now. I need to concentrate on me work.
I was literally trying to do it, but nothing was working.
I gotta decide where to start. Just a quick...
Who are you?
Hatham Kenway, at your service.
I don't understand. Why are you here?
Walk with me, Mr. Church, and all will be explained.
Well, that went well. Oh, and I dare say, I really do wish they stopped doing their own version of it, like a fast forward, fast travel thing. I've been trying to pet animals, but it so far hasn't worked. There you go. Now you can pet animals. I think the dog was angry too.
Johnson's told me what you intend.
Slice his nose.
Perhaps the man who held me is the same one that you seek. His name is Silas Thatcher.
That fancy lad is our slaver?
Don't let his velvet tongue deceive you. A crueler and more vicious creature I've never known.
What can you tell me of his operation?
He hosts at least 100 men, more than half of whom are redcoats.
All this for some slaves?
Hardly. The man's a commander in the King's troop, in charge of the Southgate Fort.
We need to find a way inside. Let me think on it. In the meantime, I'll attend to our final recruit.
John Pitcairn's our man. I'll take you to him.
How many people did he But again, oh my god. Look, it's not that I don't mind it, but come on. Ugh. Well, at least, you know, it's given us places for viewpoints and everything, so I guess it's not a total waste. What are you looking at? Rude assholes.
State your business.
New recruit.
More kindling for the pyre, eh? Well, go on then.
How'd you manage that?
Cope's Hill Battery. Cope's Hill is one of the tallest hills in Boston and the highest point in the Boston North End. The hill was fortified during the siege of Boston, partly to discourage rebels from building their own fortification across the river Charleston Peninsula. The artillery on Cope's Hill fired on the Continental Army during the Battle of the Bunker Hill, or sort of. It was actually a bit more distraction than destruction, at least at the Breed's Hill fortifications. The artillery fire on the town of Charleston was more effective. The resulting fire forced the Continental Army snipers and leveled the town.
Did you forget, sir? My commission is with General Braddock. When I'm not attending to you.
Anyways, got someone else. John Pitcairn. In 1754, John Pitcairn was a young captain in the British Marine Corps. He fought in the French and Indian War, but I can't find much about his postings. He's listed as being on the HMS Lancaster during the capture of Louisbourg, that's in Canada. No record of him being on the American side of the colonies, but it seems he did some covert work as well. I'll explain the lack of details. Pitcairn was promoted to major in 1771. He gained a reputation for being well liked by his subordinates and praised by his enemies. It's a difficult trick to pull off. Maybe he had a lovely smile.
Pitcairn, you fool! Your acts are treacherous. Give me one good reason I shouldn't kill you right now. Were you planning to announce yourself, or did you hope my men
Sir,
wouldn't notice your arrival?
if you'll allow me to explain.
Ho ho! By all means. I should like very much to hear this.
I have not deserted, sir. I am here under Commander Amherst's orders.
Show me a letter bearing his seal, and you might be spared the gallows.
I have no such thing. The nature of my work, sir,
It's the sort of thing best not put to paper.
Hatham.
General Braddock?
I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. Wolves often travel in packs.
Master Pitcairn won't be here for but a few weeks. I shall return him to his proper post once our work is finished.
The devil's work, no doubt. It's bad enough my superiors have insisted I grant you use of Charles. But they said nothing about this traitor. You'll not have him.
Edward, listen to reason.
We're done here. See these gentlemen out.
Well, that didn't go as I expected.
And to think I used to call him brother.
What now? They'll chase us off if we try and return.
We're done with this camp. As luck would have it, so are they. Come along.
So he used to be an assassin too. Edward Bulldog Braddock was the Major General placed in charge of British troops at the beginning of the French and Indian War, probably because he had a nickname like Bulldog. Braddock was serving as the acting governor of Gibraltar when he received the command in North America. He was given control of 2 regiments of regulars and assigned to win back Fort Duquesne? Duquesne, however you pronounce that, from the French, known as the Braddock Expedition, as part of a larger attack on the French colonies on the continent. Braddock had been well liked as the governor of however you pronounce that, but things changed once he reached North America. He'd been known for keeping strict order among his troops, but it seemed he went beyond that into brutality. He gained a reputation for being quick-tempered and cruel. He also displayed a contempt for non-British soldiers that alienated the colonial militia he was trying to recruit. So Crew raced his dog then. They're my least favorite type of bulldog. Bulldogs on races. It's the guy who's cold that embraces races. Braddock took a bullet to the chest during a battle in 1755. Rumor has it that it was one of our own soldiers. Yeesh. Friendly fire. Which is a job hazard when you're nasty to the people around you and they all have guns. Sounds like the bulldog may have been put down. Not really, if he's still alive.
Master Pitcairn.
What?
You'll see. Now, when I give the signal, you're to distract Braddock's patrol and lure them into a dead end.
Christ Church. This is known today as the Old North Church because it's the oldest church in the north end of Boston. But up to 1776, it would have been known by its official name, Christ Church, named after Jesus Christ, a former celebrity carpenter. Oh, we know who that is. This is where on the night of Paul Revere's ride, 2 signal lanterns appeared to warn rebels on the opposite shore that the British regulars were on their way to seize weapons. The signal was Paul Revere's idea, but contrary to popular belief, the lamps weren't a signal to send to Revere. They were meant to warn lookouts on the opposite shores in case Revere was captured. The church was a natural choice for a signal flame. It was the highest steeple in Boston and easily seen from the other side of the river. Even better, the church was Anglican. The congregation was full of wealthy loyalists, who would suspect the church sexton, Robert Newman, a friend of Revere's, of sneaking into the church at night to send secret messages. Well, the British would actually. They captured Newman a few days later and questioned him. He put on a terrific show and managed to convince them he was innocent. Then fled town, which didn't really back up the whole innocent thing very well at all. Oh, no kidding. The guy is pathetic.
We're Rapstein Marbury.
No.
One of Lynn or Ship Street.
Yes. Those fresh arrived are often soon in dire straits. They're more likely to seize upon an opportunity to fatten their purses and...
Be careful so he doesn't turn around or something. Okay, check it out. They got kids here too. But since he called him a brother, is he also an assassin, or did he technically knew him before he became an assassin?
Now!
Oi! You thieves and scoundrels, one and all! Fie on you and your false war!
After him!
Nice distraction.
Unhand him, Edward.
You again.
Let us go. And John Pitcairn with us.
I will not have my authority challenged.
Nor I.
Put them all in chains.
Well, here we go. Prevent snitches from what? Oh, calling reinforcements. I didn't see that. Grenadiers. Grenadiers. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't mean to pick up the body.
I stay my hand today because you were once my brother, and a better man than this. Or should our paths ever cross again, all debts will be forgotten. You're free now, John.
Traitor! Go on then. Join them on their fool's errand. And when you find yourself lying
I assume
broken
you've good reason for causing all this madness. What is it you require of me?
I'll explain everything on the way.
Yeah, he's still screaming while they're having a normal conversation. I'll do that later. Okay, now I go in. I have 359.
Gentlemen, I believe I found the solution to our problem. Or rather, Odysseus has.
Oh, do you? Are you a new guy?
The Greek hero, you lobcock.
Allow me to explain. We enter Silas' fort, under the pretext of kinship. Once inside, we spring our trap, free the captives, and kill the slaver.
Dodgy, dodgy. I like it.
Then, let us begin. First, we need to find ourselves a convoy.
First, we need a convoy. And just a long sound.
Convoy should be here soon. We'll attack on my signal.
Understood, sir.
If we time this right, we can catch them all unawares.
There is news that a frontier fort watched over by royal forces. Further details are known. Sheltered and Tweed.
Is that now play the act. Go. Tilt this thing over. I reload with the other button, not with the triangle. Hey, we didn't even do much, just stayed up there.
You and William serve as vanguard. Let no man reach us.
What about me?
You and John will follow from a distance and keep watch over us. I'll signal you when I have need of your services. We're here to help you, along with those held inside Southgate Fort.
Free me.
Not until we're inside the gate. I can't chance an inspection of the gate going wrong. I'll see you safe. You have my word.
I was just about to say, did they just completely forget about her, or did they need it for something else?
Do you know anything of Silas' operation?
The French and Indian War. Something we've heard so much about. It lasted nearly 10 years. This is one of many wars on a long-standing British versus French rivalry. Well, you might call it a rivalry. I call it a battle of wits with an unarmed country. This particular war being over who would come out as the biggest colonial power. Of course, it wasn't enough that the British and French fight one another. They convinced a number of North American indigenous nations to join the conflict as well. Hence the name French and Indian War. Yeah, but then with the British, should we go the French, British, and Indian War? The war started in the colonies, but it spread to Europe, where it was known as the 7 Years' War. Hang on, in the 7 Years' War. Didn't the Irish join the battle? I think the Irish joined as well, yeah. Before you point it out, yes, I know the dates up to no more than 7 years. The conflict started in 1754, but the war wasn't officially declared to 1756. But well done for spotting it, you mathlete. Bet you were popular at school. Would you stop writing those stuff? You're embarrassing yourself. George Washington has the honor of starting the actual fighting under orders, of course. He was sent to create a fort in disputed territory. While he was doing that, he crossed paths with a French patrol. Washington attacked, the French retaliated, the British followed up by sending 2 full regiments of regulars to the fights, and so it began. The British fought alongside battle until about 1758, when they got a new prime minister, who decided funding the war effort was a priority, possibly because of the whole French thing, maybe aided by the gay ones. With the added support, the British, along with their indigenous allies and the colonial militia, began to gain ground slowly but surely. Eventually, the French were driven out almost all their territory north of the Caribbean, something we in Britain celebrate with a special holiday called Every Day All Year. So the British won, but they were left with huge war debts. They tried to pay these off with taxes levied from the colonists they defended from the French. Would have thought them all eating onions and saying, "Oi sir, non sir," before you knew it. The colonists objected, leading up to a series of protests, which were part of the unrest that led to the American Revolution. Talk about gratitude.
How many men we might expect? The nature of their defenses. You must be rather important to him if you were given your own escort.
Sir, we've enemies ahead. Shall I engage them?
No. Let Jonathan and Thomas take care of it.
As you wish.
I wish you'd trust us. Though I suppose it's only natural for you to be wary. So be it.
And you got them doing the rest of the work. If they had their own brotherhood in here, their own brotherhood of assassins, you see them everywhere in here. But it makes sense that, you know, along the way, you know, some brotherhoods lost their way and so forth. I would think that, you know, like now in Constantinople, Rome, and Europe, some would have, like, lost their ways. Especially the Brotherhood in Rome, led behind by the Auditore family. I imagine by this time, it all would have been gone.
Let no man reach us!
Looks like you're to meet the Reaper.
Why the hell wasn't there not the second attacker there? That was stupid.
Aha! Bringing fresh meat, eh? Come here. I want to take
On your guard, men.
Of course.
Only say the word, and I'll cut them down.
One moment there. Me and you. Who's your officer?
Engage the enemy!
You're to meet the Reaper.
All clear.
I was about to say, like, I was supposed to be waiting for something else, or... And they, Oh, and running them over.
Hold!
Evening, gentlemen.
State your business.
Delivery for Silas.
Go on then.
See? I'm freeing you just as I said I would. Now, if you'll allow me to explain. Let her go.
But she'll give us away.
No, she won't.
What's the plan?
Free the captives and avoid detection.
Let's hope.
Silas. He dies.
I know when you're ready to strike.
The Boston Neck. Oop. Well, they're like... Well, this is where I'm actually planning to stop, so, we'll get on to the rest of this in 4 days, and as always, leave a like and comments.